breaking generational curses. Now, to be totally honest, uh, Brother Nelson, to teach on breaking generational curses, I could do that in less than 2 minutes. And basically, breaking generational curses.
Now I want you to listen to this. Pay very close attention to this. As I said, he can make this very simplified for us. He can deal with this subject in 2 minutes and be through with it. Pack up, go home. So here's the point he makes. This is it in a nutshell. All right? This is it in a nutshell. So listen to this, guys. Listen. Listen.
Is literally breaking a covenant through prayer and fasting, and that's it.
Come on.
Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna play that again because I know I kind of stopped it through there a little bit. Let's play that again.
On breaking generational curses. Now, to be totally honest, Brother Nelson, to teach on breaking generational curses, I could do that in less than 2 minutes. And basically, breaking generational curses is literally breaking a covenant through prayer and fasting, and that's it.
Come on.
Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Yeah.
All right, that's it, guys. Now you heard it from him yourself. I didn't make it up for you. He told you himself. This is it. The teaching on it, less than 2 minutes. Breaking a covenant through prayer and fasting. Spiritual covenant through prayer and fasting. So he's going to break down for us the dealing with this covenant. And he's saying this through prayer and fasting. And I know when it comes to prayer and fasting, it comes from scripture where Jesus talk about these kinds come out by nothing but prayer and fasting. Talking about the disciples when they were to try to cast out demons, they couldn't. But then Jesus cast them out. And they said, why couldn't I cast them out? And he said, these kind come out but by prayer and fasting. So, and then talking about going out but by prayer and fasting, he's referring to Matthew 17:21. But this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Now, there's something interesting to note about that particular verse, but let's go into the context of it, right? And he said unto them, because of the littleness of your faith, talking about the disciples when they couldn't cast out the spirits, and Jesus did cast out the demon. He says, because of the littleness of your faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. And then verse 21, but this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Now, there's a little note here, footnote here, that I know some people don't want to acknowledge. But I'll mention this in another video of mine, and this is key, guys. I know you don't like to hear this. Y'all may say that I'm making excuses. That's fine. I understand. But guys, biblical reasoning. This verse, verse 21, there are other verses as well. But throughout archaeological research, archaeological digs that make up the translations of the copies that which we have, early manuscripts do not contain that verse. So guys, what that means is there are manuscripts that were dated earlier, copies of Matthew, dated earlier, Matthew 17, if you will, dated earlier, that does not have verse 21. That really, what it read, the earlier manuscripts, it said this. And he said unto them, because of the littleness of your faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. And while they were gathering together in Galilee, Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised on the third day. And they were deeply grieved. But then later manuscripts have verse 21, which says, but this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting, after verse 20. So now notice, chapters and verses are there for reference, guys. But that was there later. Now, that's something we as Christians have to be honest about and use biblical reasoning. Have to be honest about those things. So if that verse isn't consistent across the copies that we have, it's there for reference sake. but it isn't consistent across all the copies that we have. We have to be honest about that it may not be a part of the original. May not be possible, but it may not be. All right, but it makes sense because the things that wouldn't be necessarily part of the original would make sense because you don't see nowhere else where Jesus says that demons only come out but by prayer and fasting. You don't see none of the apostles say the same thing. They very much repeat everything Jesus says throughout the letters and the epistles, but you never hear them mention that when it comes to casting out demons, it's only but by prayer and fasting. It's not the case. So we have to conclude that verse 21 may not be part of the original. Not trying to go on a tangent on that. I have videos dealing with that. We'll do more on that if you want to discuss it. I know that opened up a big bag of worms or can of worms, as some people would say. But hey, I'm okay with that because as Christians, we are bearers of truth, and truth matters. No matter how uncomfortable it may be for you, truth matters.
We undeserving, but Christ changed our mind frame. In a world full of errors, the only thing the doctor prescribes is truth.